Live, streaming, and on the ABC 3340 app. This is ABC 3340 News at 6.
Longtime Lincoln firefighter and paramedic Lieutenant Thomas Farmer shot to death by a neighbor who then called 911. The argument began after the neighbor first shot and killed Farmer's dog. Good evening, I'm Brenda Ledun. The Calhoun County Sheriff's Office says the man who killed the dog and Farmer was fishing on property he recently purchased. It adjoins Farmer's land. The man claims he shot and killed Farmer's dog after the dog attacked him. ABC 3340's Valerie Bell is in Lincoln. She shares more about Lieutenant Farmer's dedicated service there and what he meant to those who knew him best.
Lincoln's Fire Chief Joshua Vincent described Lieutenant Farmer as compassionate, dedicated, and loyal. He will be missed.
Took a while to absorb the phone call, and it's still not really hit home completely.
Farmer began his career in Anniston in 1995, then joined the Lincoln Fire Department in 2003. He has served Lincoln as a firefighter and paramedic for the last 20 years.
Always had fantastic patient care. He had a fantastic work ethic. Done everything we asked him to do when we asked him to do it, and just he said he was going to be here. He was here and done his job well.
The Farmer was a good trained man, you know, and good trained people are hard to come by. And there's no telling how many lives he saved in this job over that period of time.
Mayor Lou Watson says this loss leaves a hole.
It's just like losing a friend. It's devastating. It's just something you don't expect.
People in the community say when they heard what happened, it hurt.
Special to someone who's, works in this community and served this community well.
Farmer's wife writing on a social media post saying her husband, Thomas, was her best friend for almost 27 years. She calls him her rock, her confidant, adding he could always make her laugh.
Loved to fish and outdoors, and he had a surprise son born 7 years ago, and it has become his life. His son thinks he hung the moon.
Vincent says the fire department is a family, and that extends to the Farmer family.
Just ask that everybody keeps my department and his family in their prayers throughout this process, and really from now on.
At this time, it's unclear if any charges will be brought against the man who shot and killed Farmer. I have reached out to the Calhoun County District Attorney, and at this time, I have not heard back. In Lincoln, I'm Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News.
A funeral for Lieutenant Farmer will be on Monday at Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home Chapel. The visitation will be from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. with a funeral service immediately after. A funeral procession will then travel to Young's Chapel Cemetery, where Lieutenant Farmer will be buried. New developments in the case against a former Alabama basketball player and his childhood friend. A judge has denied a motion to dismiss the capital murder charge against Darius Miles. Miles and Michael Davis are charged in a shooting on the Tuscaloosa Strip in January that left a Birmingham mother dead. Davis is accused of using Miles' gun in the shooting. Miles' attorneys argued he feared for his life, but the judge says Miles did not provide enough evidence to prove that. The chief financial officer of a Shelby County nonprofit is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the organization. Cindy Massey worked for the ARC of Shelby County, which provides support to people with disabilities. She is now out on bond on a theft of property charge. A criminal complaint shows Massey is accused of stealing nearly $200,000. It says she and her daughter used the organization's credit cards to make hundreds of personal purchases in several counties and online. Well, the drought is persisting and it's impacting Alabama agriculture. A Jefferson County farmer says his hay production is 20 to 25% lower than average. Jim Miller with Watermark Farms typically cuts his hay fields 3 times a year. But the lack of rain limited the growth of the third cut this fall. The winter livestock feeding season has also started early.
We try not to feed hay until late in the fall, November, and especially if we can get some winter grass to grow. But this year that's probably not going to happen, and so we're feeding hay already.
Miller believes he's collected enough hay to feed his cattle this winter, but says he's gotten calls from other farmers looking for hay. It's time for a check on the forecast ahead of our Friday night Rivals game of the week. Hewitt-Trussville is in Shelby County to take on Chelsea, and Chief Meteorologist James Spann is live in Chelsea right now. James, what can we expect later tonight?
Oh, this weather is so nice for the high school football games tonight. The temperatures are dropping nicely now that the sun is down. But some big changes coming up next week. Hey, take a look at these numbers. Mid-80s for the weekend, then 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday. Some spots might see their first freeze of the season by Wednesday morning of next week. How about that? Now, we need some rain. We will mention scattered light rain Monday and Tuesday as the cold air comes in, but not really beneficial rain. Rain amounts will likely be under a quarter of an inch on those 2 days. But this evening, the weather could not be better for these high school football games. The sky will be clear. We're expecting about 73 at 8 o'clock, 68 degrees by midnight. College football weather and much more all coming up shortly, so stay with us.
Thanks, James. It's book fair season, and the Scholastic Corporation has changed its position, allowing school fairs to exclude some diverse books. ABC 3340's Mary Barron joins us live from the studio right now with more. Mary?
Brenda, there's a lot of controversy following the company's initial policy to separate books with race and LGBTQ themes. The company has shifted gears and says they are working to find a way to be inclusive to all. Scholastic will now drop its policy, making it easier for school fairs to exclude diverse books for sale. The company released a statement explaining the change comes as the separate nature of the collection has caused confusion and feelings of exclusion. Many parents with grade school children agree with the company's decision.
I feel like this is something that everyone can learn from, regardless of race, religion, sexuality. It could be a teaching moment for everyone throughout the world.
I feel that my child should have the option to select whatever books that they choose to read. There shouldn't be restrictions on what kids can or can't pick up.
Some feel it's solely up to the parents to monitor what their children consume.
In general, it's really the responsibility of the parent to coach their kid through those things that they do or do not believe in, because a book fair in itself is not going to change the movies that they're going to see.
Recently, a number of communities in Alabama have debated whether to put certain books in separate areas of public libraries so parents could decide if they wanted their children to see them. Governor Kay Ivey doesn't want the books banned, but believes libraries can help parents shield children from books they consider inappropriate for their age level. The governor's office declined to comment on this story. Scholastic went on to say it will consider how to make book fairs available to all kids while keeping in mind the educators facing local content restrictions. Mary Barron, ABC 3340 News.
A new study finds getting a COVID-19 vaccine during pregnancy is linked to a lower risk of a poor neonatal outcome. Researchers found when a mother chose at least one dose of a COVID-19 shot while pregnant, the antibodies formed against the virus were passed on to her child in utero. Researchers then compared this data to mothers who were not vaccinated. They found a drop in death rates, a need to be admitted to the NICU, and severe complications from a disease or medical condition.
The need for treatment for jaundice, the need for IV fluids, the need for any type of oxygen therapy, those things that can potentially happen after birth. If you do get the vaccine in pregnancy, it is safe. Your baby is going to be protected and it doesn't cause more harm to your baby.
Researchers found the safety measure was true no matter what trimester the mother got the shot. It's time to clean out your medicine cabinet. National Drug Take Back Day is tomorrow. You can drop off old or expired prescription drugs at sites throughout the state. We have a link where you can find a site near you on our website, abc3340.com. Using the sport she loves to reach out to others facing breast cancer. We'll tell you more about Betty Shivers using her battle with cancer to help others. And coming up later in sports, Auburn coach Hugh Freeze talks about the strength of his team and how they plan to use it against Mississippi State. And when are weather changes on the way? Ahead, Chief Meteorologist James Spann will fill us in.